Hello and welcome back. This is the chassis from a J83 which somebody very kindly sent to me. It's quite a smooth runner now. It was a little bit hesitant when I first got it, but let's just have a quick look at it. Let's roll that back a little bit. See, it's got lovely plated wheels, and the motor's done hardly any work. I'm thinking it has probably not really run much at all, but the drive gear, or the worm wheel as it's called, was a little bit problematic. Let's just have a quick look at this. Let's pan round a little, not too quickly. So it does have its box. It's a lovely face card there. If you look at the insert picture there, you can see it all together in one. But lovely face card. And then we do have the paperwork, and this is dated 11th of the 1st, 77, and there is the model number there, R252. So we won't open that one out. We've seen plenty of these ones before. And the box is missing part of the end flap there. There's the info on the end of the box: R252, LNER loco, J83 class. Let's have a quick glance over the bodywork before I get it back together. So it's nice and matte in its finish. I believe it is also available as a glossy variant, but this is a nice matte finish, which lots of things tended to be in the late 70s. And there we've got Hornby Railways there on the inside of the box. I'll just try and stop shaking a little bit there. Obviously too much coffee. We've got made in Great Britain there, and we've got a code number there, so R252, and then there's a dash and then 010, and you can see the protruding parts, the metal parts that have been fitted from the outside there coming through the bodywork. So not too much splatter in there from oil off the motor. So I've read that some of these models may have been fitted with a can motor and a cradle to hold the can motor where the XO type motor would have sat, but this one seems to have got an XO type motor in it. You can see the holes in the back of the bodywork there where the chassis would poke into it and secure with a single screw. It must be on the other side just there. So fairly tidy looking thing. Whistle seems to have a little bend on it. I don't know whether you can see that. I don't want to try and bend that. I don't want to snap it off. Plastic buffers. It has got provision there for vacuum pipes. I had a look at it, but they were non-present in the box. We'll just have a quick look at the front end of it there. So we'll pop that down. And there is the original worm wheel. That's the screw, the securing screw. Tiny little thing. Let's have a quick glance at that. Don't know whether we can hold focus on that. And there's the worm wheel. Now this caused the model to stutter down the track, sort of fast, slow, sort of all by itself. Let's see if we can get that on there. So to the eye it looks all in fairly good shape, but I did notice when I took this out that two of the teeth seem to be in quite poor shape. I don't know whether that's it there. There we go. I think you can see that there. They seem to be misformed, and I don't know whether that's happened as a sort of error in production or whether it's just because it's sat in the box for so many years. But it definitely caused problematic running. Somebody did suggest when I was talking about it that maybe the gear had just split and was causing the issue. Anyway, so I popped that one out, and I didn't really have a replacement plastic one as I was doing it on the Saturday night. Let's have a look at this. So I picked one off an old dead chassis, a brass one, and it runs beautifully. And the wheels were, the chassis without the motor ran beautifully, as no binding on the quartering with the connection rods, and the motor ran beautifully off the chassis, and it was just a combination of the two. So I replaced the gear. Let me pick that up and we'll have a look at it on the other side. So I'll get this all reassembled. You see the brushes there's hardly any wear in those whatsoever. The wheels are in lovely condition. So we'll just pop that down. And the chassis, which I pinched the worm wheel from, was this unusual one. So I got on this was a saddle tank body, which was quite nice, but the chassis, the wheels are wrong on it. As you can see, we've got see-through on the one side and solid on the other, but the worm wheel was a nice match, so I had that out of there, swapped that over and got some quite nice run. And these connection rods are quite lovely though. I think they'll see action in another model at some point, so we'll just pop that down. So I've got the 76 catalogue out here. Let me just widen the camera a little, and there we can see the model of the J83 LNER tank locomotive there, typical of the many 6-coupled locomotives of the LNER system used for station pilot and local passenger services, fitted with magnetesian. So it does indeed have magnetesian on that rear drive wheel. Sorry, I'm not pointing in the right place there. So I was looking but not pointing the camera. So we do have some stick to the track there. So that'll give us some extra pulling power when we get her on the go. But yeah, so I think this model was made between 76 and 78 from what I've read, and possibly available matte and in glossy finish. But this one in the picture here looks very foreshortened. I don't know whether it's a trick of the photography or whether it was just a proving model which was of a slightly different dimension. I think this sort of cropped up when the Ginty fell out of the catalogue, and I don't know whether that's just an optical effect. Excuse the doorbell in the background there. It does definitely look a much more squat sort of model, and if you look there in the catalogue picture, that definitely looks to be a CAN style motor rather than an XO style motor there. So we've got some glare on the page there. So let me just pop that away before we have an accident with it. So I'm not going to have an in-depth look through the catalogue, because I think we've seen through this one quite recently, but I think we will just have a look at the price list and see how much the J83 was on the price list in that year. So we've got the steam locomotives here, R250, so I'll re-say that, R252, J83, tank loco, LNER, and that appears to be £6.30. So the pricing on this list was for 12th of January 1976. That was the first year this model was in the catalogue there. See a new model for 76. Interestingly, on the box there is a price ticket on the back, but it's a little cheaper than the listed price. Of course, it could have just been marked for a markdown sale perhaps at a later date. No way of knowing when the price ticket went on the packet there. So that's £5.50, and the store is Taylor and McKenna, I think that says. But yeah, maybe it was bought and found not to run and returned and sat in the box ever since, because of that dodgy worm wheel. We will never know. So what I'll do is I'll get the top put back on, and we'll get it all together, get the catalogue away, and then we'll pick up these coaches from the sidings over here. Let's have a quick glance. So my plan will be to pick up these coaches from the sidings, and we'll deliver these to the station. We'll just move around nice and slowly. Oh, while we're moving around, I've just made an alteration to my track plan on the wall here, so I've got that extra siding in there for the goods shed. I hadn't drawn that in, so I've got that in view now. Not in view, or marked on the diagram, but I haven't assigned it a number yet. I'm not sure how I'm going to number that. I'm sure we'll get around to that at some point. So we'll deliver the coaches to this line into the station here. So I've been playing with the Winston Churchill and the Iron Duke this week, great fun. Both locomotives really do charge around. And then I think what we'll do is we'll pick up this goods train here. I've got my Lions Made van on here and a few others from the 70s. Thought we made quite an interesting train. So there it is with the top back on, looking quite splendid. So let's just back that up to the points, and we'll see if we can go and collect the coaches. So I think there was another variant of this model in the early 90s, possibly in the LNER livery and one in the BR black, I think. But I'm unsure of the model number of those. I think I've got the points set correctly there. So we'll roll round into the long sidings. And down the side of the coaches, I think there are 24 for the coach and R25 for the brake. So I think we just need to come through these points now. There we go. So I'm just going to have to spin around here. We'll do it quite gently, and then we'll switch some point work. So I think we need to switch the crossover 5W, which is the one that's just gone through. And then we need to switch, I think, 2W. So we can push the the coaches out. We'll spin around the railway the other way around this time and have a look over the station. I've got the rocket and its coach is just parked there, looking quite splendid. We might as well have a closer look at that. Quite a fun model. It does like to run quick, as suggested by its name. So I think it's the points which really do for it. It really doesn't like the point work. I'm convinced it's a better runner on Super 4 than it is on this System 6. So let's see if we can have a nice gentle coupling here. There we go. So again, I'm concentrating on where the camera is and not really on the controller here. So let's give that a little power. Let's see if we can get a slightly different angle. And we'll push these through the points. All been quite well behaved so far. So I think we're going to have to stop at 1B here. Excuse the squeaking floorboards. And let's see where we're set with these things at the moment. So I think we need to close 2B. I'm just going to widen the camera a little. I realise I've got it set quite tight. We get a slightly better view of things. And 3B needs to open. So let's give that a go. And there we have it. Not so much of a snap on that point motor. So that should run all the way into platform. What number have I got that one as? Let's just have a look round here. Platform number 5. Now I did go to the effort of numbering those, but I can never remember them. So let's give this a little power. We're not going to go too far because I've got the Duchess in there with the maroon coaches. Let's just pop the controller down and pick up the uncoupler. We'll just have a swift look over the coaches in the station there. As I say, I think some of these roofs are a little yellower than the others. And now I've got the the maroon coaches there. We can't quite see them. There we go. I know I've got the Duchess just sitting at the end of the platform there. Just see that hiding through the canopy. So let's see if we can uncouple these. So I've just managed to see my notes. The variant of the J83 that came along in 94 was R313. Hang on a second, I'll have a look at the other note. You can hear the seagulls. I've got a bogey that's come off the rail there. Hadn't noticed that. And I think that was the LNER version, R313 in 94, and I think around the same time there was a BR Black one as 722. Let's back that up. I didn't notice that bogey come off on the coach on the way in there. Let's back that out. There we go. So I'll write all these notes down and then either forget them or forget to look at them whilst we're making the video. Let's have that out of there. I don't think any of the other coaches have jumped. They all look pretty good. So now we need to attend to point work again. So I think we ought to close 3B and 1B. I don't know quite why those are like that, but there we go. I must have knocked that at some point. So we shall see. They're in the right direction now. There's always something amiss. So the lever was in the right direction, but the points weren't. Or was it? Anyway, let's give this a little more power now. We'll go and pick up the wagons from the goods shed. So I don't know whether a locomotive like this would have picked up goods wagons or not, but as it's shown with goods wagons in the Hornby catalogue, I think we'll give it a go, and it is only toy trains. There we go, we're beyond the point there, so we'll just pop the control around down, and this is the point with no name, as we were just looking at on the diagram earlier. And then we'll pick this up. Let's just tighten up the camera a little bit and see if we can get a slightly nicer view of her as she comes back to pick up those goods wagons. I don't want to bash into the station with the gimbal. I think we have those. Let's just come back a bit so we can see the whole train leave the goods shed there. I think these are a very 1970s set of wagons. I think this basic wagon was used. Ooh, definitely got a stall on the point work there. Let's see if we can deal with that. But the wagon jumped off here as well. So there, I finally got her untangled, and the wagon's all sorted out again. So I'm not entirely sure what was the root cause of all of that, or maybe it was trying to couple on that slight curve over there. I've pushed the wagons a little further back this time, so we'll just give that another go. And the stall could either be as a result of the couplings trying to pull against the locomotive on the curve of the point there, or it could have just been a stall as they happen. So let's back this up again. So we'll give that a little power, and we'll follow it back to the wagons. See the Duchess from above there. There, I think we have all of those. So let's give that a little power and see if we can get her out onto the main line. I think we're all the way out now. So I'm just going to close that point whilst I remember. So I'll just reach across behind me and do that. Sounds reassuring. So I've still got the camera tightened up quite a bit. I'm going to flip it over so we can go in a little lower and have a look at the train on the way past. I do love those fish finger wagons. There seems to be a couple of slight variants on the Smith Snacks wagons there. And that line's made there has a slight darkening of the decal. Now I'm just going to stop it before points number 1. Sorry, not number 1, number 8R. There we go, number 8R. So we definitely need to attend to those. There we go, and I think while we're here, what we'll do is we'll open up 1B and 2B and the elevated. All sounds good. So let's give this a little more power now. So it's quite a lot of wheels on individual wagons going to come across this next set of point work. Oh, I just left that catalogue almost on the rails there. I hadn't noticed that. You can see the sun's beginning to set. This is November the 28th, so we're very late in the afternoon on the Sunday. And it's getting dark so quickly at the moment. So I'm just going to flip the camera around, I think. My arm's getting very tired holding it this way around. So I think we're all on the elevated section now. Let's widen the camera again. So we're all on the rise there. So let's give her a little power and see if she'll pull that little lot away. I don't think there's any effort involved there whatsoever. So we'll get the whole lot up on the level and we'll have a quick look. There we go. Let's just pop that down and I'll grab some notes. Actually, that's not going to stay there. Excuse me spinning around. So let's just tighten that up a little and we'll have a look here. So I think at the tail end here we've got an NE brake van. Sorry, I'm not looking where I'm going now, I'm looking at my notes. So that's in grey with a white roof, looks to have silver seal wheels. So that was our 114 or 215 from what I can see. Available quite a long time between 73 and 79, and then there's the lines made. We looked at those a couple of weeks ago and I think they were just available in 74. So they've got those very early style silver seals on those ones. And then we've got the prime pork, and that's I think they made a lot of these wagons. These were available from 74 to 82, and that's the numbering I can find on those is R162 or 216, so possibly available with silver seal or black wheels, all moulded as one with the axle. I think the Smith snacks again possibly available with both types of wheels, R135 or 725 available 78 to 81. There's definitely two different styles of printing there on the sides, isn't there? One's much whiter than the other. And then the lovely bird's eye vans, I really like these. One of those roofs is really very, very yellow, isn't it? So that's R105, available 74 to 79. And then we have these, I think these are probably the first variant of these wagons. I think these came along 72, 73. Just called the refrigerator van. I think they were R21. But, I thought it made quite an interesting train. Let's just have a look down there. If I can get in low, we'll just have a quick look over the locomotive. You can definitely see the exo motor through the side of the cab opening there, can't we? So I do quite like the matte finish. I'm all for glossy locomotives, but the matte has something about it. So I think it's a finish they may have put on the plastic, because the inside the model doesn't look to be terribly matte as I remember it. It's almost got like a sheen on it. So I think we'll flip the camera over again, and we'll go for some power. I think I can't reach back and get that controller without turning around slightly. So here we go. We'll give that a little power. So the white dot on here is worn away, so I've put a bit of a pen mark on there. So let's give that some power and see if we can have quite a controlled descent. Looks pretty good to me. I'm sure it would charge away if we wanted it to. And then we're about to go past the goods shed again. And down the far side of the station, I'm sure I've closed those points. I remember doing it. But I think that's probably it for this week. And if you look back again next time, we'll have something else from the range to look at. Goodbye now.